Some brands offer you low finance, or cashback, or servicing.
Renault don't do ors. We do ands. The Renault Kadjar with 1.91% APR and €1,000 cashback and 3 years servicing, saving you thousands. Renault, the brand with the ands. Visit your local Renault dealer. Finance is made under a hire purchase agreement. Terms and conditions apply. Deposit required subject to lending criteria. See Renault.ie.
Welcome, everyone, to a very special Christmas episode of The Brian and Sherri Show, coming to you live from Walt Disney World. On tonight is author Sylvia Shults. Here's your hosts, Brian and Sherri.
Thanks, Josh. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, our last show. What's the show? I saved the best for last, fortunately. So this is the end of season 4. I am joined by Sherri. However, she is under the weather, but she is listening and she is watching. So, in her place, we have a co-host, comedian James Mack is with me tonight. How are you, James?
I'm doing pretty good, Brian. How's what is it, Disney World or Disneyland down there? I always get those confused.
I am in Disney World, so I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I always remember there's one in Florida, one in California, but I can never remember which one's where. So, yeah.
Yep.
So this should be fun. Yeah. So are you having fun down there? Or?
I'm having a blast, although my vacation is almost over, unfortunately. I leave Thursday, but that's all right. I need to get back home. I need to get back to work. But, yeah. I think 10 days is enough. So, yeah. I've always wanted to go down there. I've never been to either of the Disney parks, so you really need to. Well, being a single guy, and right now I'm not dating anybody, it's a little creepy when you're in your 40s and you start wandering around the parks. So, yeah. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many single people are going around the parks. And actually, you know what? Maybe people have more fun by themselves. They don't have to worry about another person. They're not bringing any children. Oh, the children drive me crazy. But anyways, I love this place. Yeah, you'd be surprised. So, yeah. Oh, I'm not saying people don't do it, but yeah. Well, maybe No, I know what you're talking about. I don't think I'd want to come down here by myself either. So it's no fun. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Hello to everyone on Facebook Live. Hello. We got Lisa. We have Diane. Sherri's watching. I told you. Amanda. Hello. I'm waiting for a couple more people to come on. So tonight, because we've saved the best for last, which means we have author Sylvia Shults coming on. So that is the best part, because we're going to be talking about the holidays, because it is the holiday season. And we're going to be talking about her book that she has, which is The Spirits of Christmas, which I love the title, The Dark Side of the Holidays. Because we really didn't get a chance to really talk about that book when it came out. So I figured our time was due, and it's today. So, yeah. Oh, definitely. Did you do some research, James? I did a little bit. Just on some of her other books, and just read basically online a brief synopsis of this book. I mean, it seems really interesting. I mean, most people don't think of, like spirits and ghosts around Christmas unless you start talking about, of course, like the Christmas Carol, the Ghost of Christmas Past and things like that. Now, it's a little different for me. My grandparents came over from northern Germany, so they have like the idea of like Krampus and the actual spirit of Christmas is what they believe. So it's a little bit different than
what most people grow up with, just Santa Claus. So.
Right. Yeah. See, and now I know what they mean in that. I can't remember the song when they say telling ghost stories. I never understood that.
Oh,
But now I do. I get it. So, wonderful time of the year. Or, I don't know. But anyways, yeah. So, yeah. All these people on here. Hello to everyone.
Yeah, most people, if you start talking about, like, you know, if they're not thinking of the Christmas Carol, if you start thinking about, like, the spirits of Christmas, maybe they might think of, like, you know, Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas or something like that.
Ooh, yeah. I like that movie. It's my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Well,
although
my favorite.
That debate goes on whether that's a Christmas or a Halloween movie, so...
Yeah, true. I don't know. I'll have to find out. I'm in the right place, so I'm pretty sure somebody could tell me.
Oh, that's right. That was Disney. Yep. So.
Yeah. So, yeah. I know that Sherri is not able to, everyone's talking about the weather and stuff. Obviously, Sherri could probably answer me online, but I just wanted to know if there was any snow or ice up there. I refuse to watch any weather for my area of where I live. So now I'm kind of curious. So, Sherri, just let me know, or anybody on Facebook Live can let me know. So, James, you're in New Jersey.
Yep.
And how is the weather there?
It's been seasonably cold, but today, like, the winds got up pretty bad. I think it got up to like 21 miles per hour steadily at one point today. But this morning when I went outside, it was like 17 miles per hour and like 31 degrees. But no ice, no precipitation. So we've only had that one snowfall so far this year. So.
Sounds cold. I don't know if I want to go home now. Sherri is saying, yeah, a little snow and a little bit of icy spots, she's saying. Well, I hate to tell you that today I enjoyed 73-degree weather. The sun was hot today, so it felt a lot warmer than what it was saying. Currently, it's only 55 degrees, so it has cooled down. And when it gets cold down here, it gets cold. So, but yeah, so that's what I've been dealing with. But I won't rub that in anyone's faces. I promise. All right, but anyways. So it's a different show. I'm so used to talking to Sherri. So now I'm going to have to get used to talking to James here. You were going to say something, James?
Oh, I was going to say, does Disney do anything super spectacular for the Christmas season, like a parade or fireworks or anything?
So, yes, of course they do. So that all starts. Christmas for Disney starts in what, November? Yes. Actually, the day after Halloween, right? Yeah. So they do trick-or-treating in Magic Kingdom, which is the main park. And that's the only park to do Halloween. And then overnight, once the park closes, overnight, instantaneously, it becomes Christmas the next morning. Everything is redecorated. It's absolutely beautiful. So for the holiday season, they do Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which is a special ticketed event. You have to buy a ticket to get in. And if you don't have a ticket and you're in the park, you get booted out. That's how they do it. So they have a parade. They have a Christmas fireworks spectacular. They give out cookies. I don't know if anyone can see my cookie here. So on Facebook Live here, my little Mickey Santa sugar cookie. Oh, isn't that beautiful? They give out hot chocolate and eggnog and different areas of the park. You'll get either a different treat. It's all free for all that stuff. special pins, people who collect pins, such as myself. They do different things. So I come down, this is my 4th year. I come down the same time. I do the same thing. It's absolutely wonderful. So, yeah, Christmas is the best time to come down. They do the most. You don't want to be down here for any other holiday. It's too busy. So, yeah.
Okay. So I finally got Facebook Live up, so now I can see your Christmas decorations that you have.
You can see me now? Oh, James Mack
yes.
is watching. I'm gonna wave to you. Hello to Melissa. Cassandra, hello. Lisa, I do have a golden ticket. You're absolutely right. So, yeah. Cindy, hello. Thanks. My bells, yes, they're annoying. That's why I love them. So, I also have my old ones from last year, too. I got my Christmas lights here. I brought them just in case, but they were running a deal on these little sleigh bells here for $10, which is a steal in Magic Kingdom, mind you.
Oh, wow.
Normally, they're probably, I don't know, probably $40 or something. I don't know, something crazy. So, yeah. But anyways. Enough about me and where I am. We've come to talk to Sylvia Shults about her book, Spirits of Christmas, The Dark Side of the Holidays. I wish I had like a Darth Vader voice to say that. It sounds so fitting. But anyways, hello to my aunt. Hello. It seems you guys have made it back from Hollywood Studios just in time. Hello. So I'm going to welcome Sylvia Shults on the line because I know she's there. Oh, maybe she's not there. Hold on, Sylvia. I'm sorry.
I'm here. I promise.
There you are. Yeah.
I'm here. I promise.
Yeah, it had you on mute for some reason. That's weird.
Oh, wait. I was chiming in with all sorts of comments from the Peanut Gallery, and nobody was listening to me. And I thought,
I'm sorry.
What's going on?
I'm so sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, I was telling about reacting to the weather comments about how, I'm so sorry it cooled down to 55 for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my heart bleeds.
Yeah, I know. You along with everybody else are saying that.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Well, we had a couple of good snowstorms here in Illinois in November. But we haven't had any snow. We might possibly get a dusting for Christmas, but that's about all they're saying on the Weather Channel for now. And it's been like mid-40s here for the past couple of weeks. It's been really nice.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you have any special traditions for your holidays there, Sylvia?
Well, my husband and I used to celebrate, like I was telling you before the show started, that my uncle came from Holland, and so he introduced our family to the custom of visiting, getting a visit from St. Nicholas and putting his shoes out next to the fireplace on December 5th, and St. Nicholas's feast day is December 6th. So the morning of that, he comes down the chimney and leaves presents in your shoes instead of stockings. So that was fun. That was a neat change.
Now, do y'all practice? Did he also practice Krampus night? Or
you know what? He didn't. He never mentioned Krampus, and Krampusnacht is the night before St. Nicholas Day. So I'm kind of I'll have to ask him when I see him for Christmas this year why he never mentioned Krampus.
Yeah, we always I don't know if celebrate's the right word for that, but practiced it anyways, because you had to make treats for Krampus to make up for being a bad kid all year. So you had to leave them, or or you got taken away. So.
Who's the one that likes schnapps? You leave out cookies
Krampus.
and milk for Santa Claus, but I think it's Krampus that likes schnapps.
Yeah, so you leave out schnapps, and the kids had to make treats. So to pay Krampus for you being a bad kid. So, or else you got switches and coal. So
yeah, you get stuffed into a sack and carried off to be eaten.
For the really bad kids. So I never did anything bad enough to worry about that. So.
Oh well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I stayed out of the felony level children stuff.
I am trying to find Facebook Live here. I've got the Blog Talk link, but I need to get onto Facebook Live so that I can respond to any comments people make.
Yeah.
I wonder.
So you would just go to our Facebook page.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I had to do.
Trying to type and talk at the same time, and my brain's melting.
Yep, just type in Brian Sherri.
Yeah, it's thinking about it. It's thinking about whether to let me on. Maybe I'll close that out. So yeah, Christmas, and that blows my mind that they can completely switch from Halloween to Christmas overnight at the Magic Kingdom. But I guess it's the Magic Kingdom, so they can do pretty much anything.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not just Magic Kingdom; it's every park. So they decorate, Epcot and Hollywood Studios. It's all decorated. It must be a team of unimaginable amount of people that have to decorate like absolutely everything. So they show it on TV as a special of how they do it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So, yeah.
Hey, there we go.
So anyway.
So
do you want
Sylvia,
all right, now I'm all set up to respond to any comments people make. So all right,
of course,
Merry Christmas. Happy Krampusnacht.
And you're saying it correctly. Good job.
Thank you.
always like that. So, of course, one of the things that we want to ask you about is your book on the spirits of Christmas. So if you want to call it that, do you just want to kind of explain it, in your own words?
Yeah. Well, we always think of spirits and ghost stories and everything as being something we talk about around Halloween, and we think, well, why talk about ghost stories at Christmas? I mean, that ship sailed November 1st, right? But it was actually the Victorians who really started getting into telling ghost stories at Christmas. The reason for that was the Victorians were very open to the idea of spiritualism and contacting the dead in general. In the middle of the 19th century, you had the Civil War going on in the United States, and just a few years before that, in 1848, you had the birth of the spiritualist movement, where people really started doing seances and contacting mediums to contact their dead loved ones. And it just snowballed during the Civil War. And in Europe, you also had all sorts of wars going on throughout the 19th century. So people were very, very conscious of this. And even before then, for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, ever since Christmas started, you had people realizing that these festivals of lights, Saturnalia and Christmas and Hanukkah and all these, the solstice, all these festivals of lights take place during the darkest time of the year. And people realize that, hey, you know, people need a reason to celebrate. It's dark, it's cold, it's horrible. Nobody wants to go outside. They just want to stay in and hibernate. And what better way to do that than to visit with your loved ones and have feasts and tell stories and celebrate a holiday. That's a perfect time of year to do that. And here in the Midwest, it's just as awful as everywhere else. Well, maybe not Florida, I guess, but here in the Midwest, December is like living inside Tupperware. It's dank, it's cold, it's gloomy most of the time, and it's just a really good time to sit around and tell stories. The Victorians had a myriad of ghost stories that they enjoyed. This was the time of year to do that. It's cold. People want to stay inside, and the Victorians just had a repertoire of ghost stories. There was a guy named Lord Littleton that had his own collection of ghost stories. And he would bring it out every Christmas and just scare the paste out of his little kids, telling them these ghost stories. And the mother was always like, "Oh no, don't tell them these stories." And the kids would always beg for more because they just loved it. And yeah, he had his own little collection of these ghost stories. There was one story that it was so popular during the Victorian times that it kind of got to be more of an urban legend than a story. This is the story of Anne Cope. Now, this went through several different variations. It had so many different variants that people now consider it more of an urban legend than a ghost story. But the story of Anne Cope goes like this. Anne was a very beautiful young woman. She got married on Christmas Day. So there was a wonderful big feast and a party at this big manor house after the wedding, and a big celebration for the wedding. And after eating and after having this wonderful party, everybody thought, well, hey, let's play a game. The Victorians were really big on party games. So they're like, well, let's play hide and seek. And Anne said, oh, okay, let's I want to hide. So somebody else got to be it and count, and everybody else scattered to all these four corners of this big manor house. And Anne went to a disused room of the manor house, room where people didn't usually go, and she went in there. She said, oh, this is a perfect place to hide. And in this room, she found a lovely carved wooden chest. And she said, oh, this would make a perfect hiding place. She opens up the lid of the chest, and she climbs in, and she shuts the lid, and she waits, and waits, and waits, and waits. You know that old joke, what do you call a dead blonde in a closet? Winner of the 1986 Hide-and-Seek Championships? That's what happened to poor Anne Cope. Nobody found her, and here's where the urban legend kind of creeps in. Don't ask me why they, stopped looking for this bride who disappeared on her wedding day. So some of the stories go that over the centuries, the manor house changed hands, and it was eventually bought by a local police constabulary that wanted to use it for training grounds and a meeting place for the policemen and the people being trained. So they take possession of this manor house, and they start going through this new place that they've bought for their use, and they find a little used room of the manor house. And in this room, there's a great big wooden chest, and it's beautifully carved, and they open it up, and they go, oh, my God, there's a skeleton in here, and it's wearing a wedding dress, and there are scratch marks on the inside of the lid. Oh, my goodness, oh, this is horrible. But the Victorians loved this story. They absolutely ate it up because it was the Victorian ideal of a story that had great happiness, a wedding, a feast, games, and great sorrow. The bride disappearing on her wedding day and being found centuries later in a wooden box with scratch marks on the lid. The Victorians loved that stuff. So fun stuff.
I could definitely hear that as like an Edgar Allan Poe type
right.
type story.
And Poe was one of the ones that was writing in this time period.
Yep.
The other thing about this Christmas time in this era is that it was also, not only were the Victorians very interested in spiritualism and ghost stories in general, but it was also the time when factories started really ramping up and producing things for people to buy. Of course, Christmas presents were always better if they were handmade, but it's about this time when people started buying a lot of presents from factories. And one of the most popular presents, I am delighted to say, as a librarian and a book lover, was books of Christmas stories, anthologies of Christmas stories. And a lot of these people that we read in honors English class, Edgar Allan Poe, Arthur Conan Doyle, Henry James, all these guys would submit these stories, these Christmas ghost stories, to these Christmas anthologies. And they just sold like, whoa, they were bestsellers.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, yeah.
So a lot of people are commenting, I don't know if you can see, but a lot of people are wondering when your stories will be turned into movies.
I missed that comment. Oh, my goodness. I think I need to catch up on these comments here. My goodness. Well, I would very much like to see 44 Years in Darkness turned into a movie, the story of Rhoda Derry. So I am working behind the scenes on that. That's a back burner thing. It's a work in progress. So fingers crossed. I'm contacting several different people. So it's going to happen. I will make it happen.
Awesome. Good to hear.
Yeah.
So
that's an amazing story. It deserves to be turned into a movie.
It does, actually. Yes. I love that story. So the spirits of Christmas, the dark side of the holidays, is actually not one giant story.
Right,
like it's
right.
Not a
it's
whole
over
book.
120. Yeah, over 120 true ghost stories in this book. So if you're looking for a lot of variety and a lot of fun different stories, this is the book to get, I'm telling you. It's divided into several sections. There's a look at the Victorians. There's a section on the tragedies that happen in December. There is Creeping Up on Christmas. There's spooky ghost stories that happen just in December. There's unsettling things that happen in midwinter. So we talk about that. There's monsters. There's a section on the monsters of Christmas. And then there's ghost stories of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Lots and lots of stories in this book.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And the one that I have yet to read is the one about the plane.
Oh, the plane. That is one of my favorites.
Yes, I know.
Okay, do you want to just wait and read it, or do you want me to tell the story now? Shall I share it with everyone?
Yeah, I guess you could. There's a reason why I don't read this story, because I fly down here and then back home, so it's got me freaked out.
You're talking about the plane crash. Oh, okay. That's not the story I was going to tell. That's not the story I was going to tell.
Yeah, I don't like the
I
plane
have
crash one.
A different story.
Nope. What's that one?
This will make you feel better. Okay, this is one of my absolute favorites in the book. It's the story of Squadron 149. This happened December 18th of 1937. So in the early days of the air war in World War II, American and British crews, British crews mostly, were flying Vickers Wellington bombers out of Mildenhall Air Base in Suffolk, Britain. And these bombers were big, heavy things. They could barely get out of their own way. And what they were good for was flying over the English Channel, going over Germany, dropping a load of bombs, and then hightailing it back to England before they got just shot to shreds by the Luftwaffe. There were big, heavy planes, couldn't defend themselves. They had fighter escorts, but the Luftwaffe were just tearing these planes apart. So the idea was to send a squadron out during the daytime and try to get back before it got dark. So December 18th, 1939, this squadron of 9 Vickers-Wellington's bombers set off from Mildenhall Base. 4 of the bombers had engine trouble, so they had to turn back right away. So that left a squadron of 5 to carry on over the channel and go over to Germany and get their job done and come back. Now, this is December 18th. We're really close to the winter solstice, so there's not many hours of daylight to begin with. So, and the other thing is that when the planes left, the ground crews didn't have any contact with them. They had to maintain radio silence, so the Germans didn't know they were coming. So once those planes took off, the ground crews had no idea what was happening with them until the planes got back. So a couple of the planes limped back just before dusk, and the weather started getting really nasty. It started to snow. The temperature just plummeted. So the ground crews, there's 3 planes still missing. So the ground crews are really concerned about this. They can't contact them by radio. All they can do is just wait. Now, the ground crews had set up the airfield. They had lined the airstrip with paraffin lanterns that they could light to guide the plane in safely to the airstrip. And they also had these great big spotlights called chance lanterns that they could just light up that airfield and guide the planes in. So it's getting dark. Now it's full dark, and it's still snowing, and the weather's still getting worse and worse and worse. And the ground crews are just biting their nails, just waiting outside, waiting to hear some sign of these planes that are supposed to come back, and they're way overdue. And they're standing there outside, and all of a sudden, one of the ground members lifts his head, and he's listening, and he hears a plane. But what he hears is not the steady drone of the twin engines of the Vickers-Wellington bombers. What he hears is the choppy sound of an engine that's about to fail. This is a plane that's in serious distress. So all the ground crews run out. They light the lanterns. They put the spotlights on. They light up that airstrip. And what they see coming towards them out of the dusk and out of the snow is not a Vickers-Wellington bomber. They see is an Fe-2 biplane from World War I. They're close enough. It comes down real low over the airstrip, and the airstrip's lit up real well. So they're close enough that they can see, the ground crew can see the tattered canvas on the wings of the biplane. They can see the rotted rubber on the bicycle tires that are spinning free underneath the undercarriage. They can actually see the pilot in the cockpit. He's wearing his goggles, and he's got his scarf and his ascot flying in the wind. And the pilot reaches out over the side of the cockpit, and he drops something, and it lands on the tarmac. Tink, 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 tink. And then he pushes the engines as hard as they'll go, and he motors off into the dusk. And he disappears. And the ground crew runs over to where something has been dropped on the tarmac, and one of the mechanics picks it up, and it's a wrench. And there's a piece of paper wrapped around the wrench, and they unroll it, and it says, Vickers-Wellington N6391 was lost over water. It was shot down. It was not shot down over land, where either the pilots could escape and make their way to freedom or be captured and taken prisoner by the Germans. It was lost over water, about 40 miles from the possibility of any air-sea rescue. So now they knew what happened to their plane. So why did an Fe-2 biplane deliver this message to Mildenhall Air Force Base? Well, during World War II, 149 Squadron flew Vickers Wellingtons out of Mildenhall Air Base. In World War I, British flyers flew out of French air bases, and number 149 Squadron flew FE-2 biplanes.
Very interesting.
I love that story.
Yeah, well, you had me listening to it.
Oh, thank you.
I feel better. I feel better now about flying.
Good, because there's folks up in the air looking out for you. How's that? And I won't make you read the plane crash story if you don't want to.
Yep. No, not yet. I'll read that till I get home.
Okay.
So, people want to know, where can they find this book?
It is on Amazon and at barnesandnoble.com. It is also available as an e-book. It's on Kindle, Nook, any sort of e-reader that you want. It's on any sort of platform. And you can also walk into any local friendly neighborhood bookstore and ask them to order it, and they will order it for you. You can find it pretty much anywhere.
Awesome. Hopefully everyone got that on Facebook Live.
I hope so. If you go to sylviashults.wordpress.com, right now I am in the middle of running the 12 Nightmares of Christmas. It's a series of blog posts, and there are extra stories in there and fun links to Christmas music and neat facts about Christmas. So, yeah, I learned that male reindeer shed their antlers every year during the wintertime because of hormonal changes. So, and male and female reindeer both have antlers, but the males shed theirs. So that means that Santa's reindeer, who are always shown with antlers, are either female deer or bucks that have been castrated.
Yeah, the geldings. Yep.
Yeah, geldings, yeah.
Interesting.
So now you know.
Huh. I know that Sherri is asking people if anyone's had any paranormal experiences. So that's one question out there that we're waiting for. James, did you have any questions for Sylvia?
So I have a couple. One of them is
sure.
So what kind of made you think? I know you told us kind of the history of the book, but what kind of got you interested in that type of ghost story when most people think of spirits as like a Halloween type, book or something to that extent? So what kind of triggered your imagination to go towards that?
It's a funny little story. I work at a library. I have always loved true ghost stories. I have been reading since I was a very, very small child, and I have been in love with ghost stories my entire life. So I've been writing these collections of true ghost stories and having a lot of fun with it. And a couple of years ago, I was at work, and I think it was somebody put something in the book return at work that I picked up to check back in and put back on the shelf. And I can't remember now whether it was a Christmas CD, a CD of Christmas music, or if it was like a collection of Amish Christmas novellas, Christmas-themed novellas. But it got me thinking. I said, why don't I do a book of Christmas-themed ghost stories? And it just grew from there. And I got to write about the monsters of Christmas and learn a whole bunch of stuff about that. And I got to write about tragedies, and I got to just glut myself on true ghost stories and pick out the ones that happened in December or Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and put them in the book. And I think people will really enjoy them.
Now, a phrase you used in there was true ghost stories.
Yes.
What defines that?
Something that actually is historically proven, or a story that somebody shared with me that they actually experienced. I'm absolutely fascinated with true ghost stories. Ghost stories in fiction are okay, but man, give me the true stuff every time, because that is, you can't understand the ghost stories of a place without knowing the history behind it. The ghost stories are there because people lived through this history. That's what really is the draw for me.
And the other one is, of course, what's probably, not necessarily to other people, but to you, what was probably the scariest place that you've ever experienced something in, like, or that you've been to that definitely caught your attention?
Oh, scariest. Well, I've been very lucky. I mean, James, this is the first time you and I are actually talking, so you haven't heard a lot of these stories before, but I am very, very familiar with a place called Peoria State Hospital in Illinois, which is an abandoned mental asylum. Now, you say haunted mental asylum, and your mind goes all American Horror Story on you, and you assume that there was pain and fear and abuse. And it is my privilege and my joy to tell people that was not the case at the Peoria State Hospital. This is a place of caring. This is a place where patients came to find help, and they found it. They got their help that they needed. It was a place where people were cared for very compassionately. So I've got that background. A couple weeks ago, I went to a place called Edinburgh Manor, which is in Iowa, and it is also an abandoned insane asylum. And the Peoria State Hospital closed in 1973, but Edinburgh only closed in 2010. November of 2010. So it hasn't been closed for very long. I was very interested to see the difference in kind of the energy between Edinburgh and Peoria State. I found it a very melancholy place. It wasn't really frightening, but I was with another investigator down in the basement, and we were coming out of the basement, we were walking through this maze of rooms, and I started hurrying a little because I felt like somebody was watching me, and I'm about as sensitive as a brick. I don't pick up on things very often, but I felt like we were being watched. And I said something to Johnny, and he said, I was going to say the same thing. I just feel like there are eyes on us. So I wouldn't really call it scary, just it got my attention because I'm not usually one to pick up on something like that. But I definitely felt it.
Yeah, I think when you start talking about, especially the mental institutions back of like the older days, I know up here in Pennsylvania, I'm in New Jersey, but in Pennsylvania you have Penhurst Asylum.
Yes.
Which is what everybody thinks of when you start saying that. So.
Exactly. Penhurst is the go-to for nasty, horrible, wretched places. I'm sorry to say, but yeah, I'm familiar with Penhurst. I've never been, but I'm familiar with the story of Penhurst, and it's just a tragedy. It's the mentally ill are people the same as we are, and it's just that they don't have emphysema or a broken leg or something like that. They have something wrong with their emotions and their brain. It's just different brain chemistry, and it's not something they can help. They can't just snap out of it, but they need compassion. So I've got a family history of mental issues. So yeah, I feel very strongly about this, and they're not people to be feared. They're people to be cared for. So anyway, we're wandering way off the track of Christmas.
Yeah, that was just one of them. So Brian, did you have any other questions? I mean,
I've got plenty more stories to share.
I know. So I'm just going to go back to Facebook Live here and just check to see if anyone has any questions that we have missed. I have pinned SylviaShults.wordpress.com for everyone to see it so it doesn't go away.
You have. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So that's where everyone can go because they can find information about the book there too, right?
Yes,
besides
absolutely.
going to Amazon and and then little extra stuff that she will save. Let's see here. We got thank you, James Mack, for co-hosting. Oh, that was. Would she be willing to write another book with Brian and Sherri in it and make it
saw
scary?
That.
Sherri.
I'll have to think about that one. You guys need to come out and visit me.
I know. I really do.
Yeah, you come out and visit me and investigate my Pollock Hospital with me, and you'll definitely be in the book.
Oh, see, now she's throwing the hospital in my face as a way to get me out there.
Darn straight I
am.
am.
I really do want to go. I really do want to go. Yeah, I got to plan something. I got to get out there.
Mhm.
So, I'm supposed to go to. I'm supposed to be going to a Comic-Con at some point. And I do have to go out that way to meet author Daniel Payton. So, because he's in...
Swing by.
Yeah, I think he's in, Wisconsin or something.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
up there
that's
somewhere.
right next door.
Yeah, I think that's where he is, I hope, anyways. But, yeah, I have to get out there because I'd love to go there. So, yeah. Let me see. Do I have any questions? No, I don't think I do have any questions. Except, I'm just surprised that, I know it makes more sense to do a book with different types of multiple stories in it. Is there a reason why you chose to do it that way and not just choose one and create a book off of that story?
Well, I like variety, and I thought it would be a lot of fun to just cram as many stories in there as I could. And it was really fun for me, since we're veering over into the actual writing part of it, it was a lot of fun for me to look at all these stories and then figure out for myself how to arrange them, how to arrange the book so that it would be pleasant for people to read instead of just a mishmash of stories. So that's how I came up with monsters in this section, tragedies in this section, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, things like that. So, it was an interesting exercise in how to put a book together coherently, too, which is always, for me, that's one of the fun parts. I'm very detail-oriented. I'm a Virgo, so I like to have things in place. I like to have things straightened and neatened, and that goes for my stories, too. I really enjoy that part of writing, taking all these disparate stories and putting them into a coherent thing for people to read.
Right.
Coherent form for people to read. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Sherri is wondering, do you have any future ideas for books?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we were chatting before the show started, and I am very pleased to say that I am working on a sequel to Fractured Spirits. I have had, the book came out several years ago, and I've had so many more experiences. I've had so many people share their stories with me that I realized that I really needed to update the book or do something with it because I have so many more stories to share. So I talked about it with my publisher, and I said, well, how would you feel about a revised edition of Fractured Spirits? And he said, well, I'd really just like to see another book. So I said, well, let me see what I can do. So that's what I'll be working on during this Christmas vacation that I have coming up here next week, doing a staycation and staying in and hibernating and writing. So that will be called Fractured Souls, More History and Hauntings at the Peoria State Hospital.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I think
and there'll be a whole chapter in there about the boy in the basement.
Oh, I remember that story.
Yeah.
I think Fractured Spirits actually is the reason you came on the show in the first place, if I'm not mistaken.
That is how you and I and Sherri were all introduced. And that was the inspiration for the story I put you guys in for your book.
That's true. Yes, that's true. I love that story.
Thank you.
So, I know that there was another question, which I now have lost. The process of choosing the stories that you put in this book. Like how did you choose which one?
I just read a whole bunch of ghost stories and picked out the ones that happened in December and put them in the book. That was really all there was to it. So it was a lot of fun. I just got to read ghost stories to my heart's content. And then, this happened. And I was actually on a ghost tour in Plymouth, Massachusetts last June. And the tour guide was telling a story, a really outrageous, rip-roaring story of the wreck of the General Arnold in 1778. And I was listening to her, and she mentioned a date, and I said, hold on. I put my hand up at the back of the group, and I said, when did you say this happened? And she goes, December 24th, 1778. I said, wonderful. Carry on. Keep telling the story. I want to hear it. So the story of the General Arnold is also in the book.
Awesome.
Yeah. So do we have an hour for this or 2 hours? We're on for 2 hours, right?
Nope, just an hour.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know.
Well, people are just going to have to get the book and read the story of the General Arnold because it is so much fun. It's really gross and really spooky and really terrifying and it's a story. That's one of my other favorites. It's the story of the General Arnold.
How long did it take you to compile all the stories?
About a year. I worked on it for about a year, just gathering stories and then divvying them up into the separate sections and then writing in them too. I didn't want to just copy them. I wrote the actual stories. So about a year.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think you were finished with it when you mentioned it the last time on the show, so we really never got to do a show about the book when it actually did come out. I don't know what happened. So, so I'm like, darn it, I'm going to have it come out.
Well, this is the perfect time to talk about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, like Sylvia said earlier, for all those on Facebook Live, The Spirits of Christmas, The Dark Side of the Holidays, which I love that title. You can find on Amazon. You can go to Barnes & Noble. We have Barnes & Noble locally. You can go to your local bookstore and ask for it. And they'll ship it to you or to the store. So it's sylviashults.wordpress.com. You can also go there as well. And there's also some extra tidbits on that website for you. So, yeah.
There is. We're right in the middle of the 12 Nightmares of Christmas. Goes till, Christmas Eve is the last post. So lots and lots of fun stuff. I highly recommend you go there. The very, very, very soon is going to be the 2018 episode of the Christmas episode of Lights Out. So there's going to be a link to that here pretty soon. I think that's on the 23rd 23rd or 24th. I don't remember. But yeah, that's coming up here soon. So enjoy. I have 12 Christmas presents for people who come to the site, and I hope you enjoy what I put up there for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was kind of skimming through the WordPress for that, and with the exception of the dubstep reference, everything looks pretty fun.
I couldn't resist. I just couldn't resist. So remember, guys, be good or the Yule Cat will get you. And the Yule Cat knows who's been naughty and who's been nice, because naughty children don't get new clothes for Christmas. So the Yule Cat can tell immediately if you've been nice because you've got new clothes. And the Yule Cat will eat you, by the way. Yeah.
What'd you say?
Yeah. If you get clothes, it'd be nice.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know.
We have.
Stop bothering me. What's that?
All right. Do you usually just write one book at a time, or do you sometimes write multiple books? Is one of the questions that came up.
Yeah, I'm trying to answer it too, and my face, but my keyboard is being wonky. So yeah, I'll just answer it here. I'm usually doing research for several books at a time. I can only write one at a time, but I'm usually doing research because I'm always reading ghost stories. I'm always finding things to put in the books. So I am currently doing research for 3 books right now, but Fractured Souls is the one that's going to get written first.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm researching more than one, but I'm only writing one at a time.
Okay.
What's that? Oh, I'm sorry. We have a question from my gallery here. They are wondering if you are on Apple Books.
As
I don't know.
far as
That's
I know, yes.
Oh.
I think so. I think my publisher told me that, yes, we were on Apple Books.
Well, we're going to find out, because Apple Books is an affiliate of our show, and I'm supposed to be pushing there. Yeah. So, what's that?
Well, yeah, let me know for sure, and, yeah, we'll cross-promote or something.
Yeah, we are currently looking on that, so we'll get back to that in just a second. We're down to 2 minutes. So, like I said, you guys really need to, I own the book. I bought it when it came out for my
You did? You
iPad
pre-ordered it,
or
I think.
Yes, I did.
Boy,
yes,
those are obnoxious
on,
bells. I love them.
Aren't they? Oh, my God. I love these things. So I just want to show everyone here. So if you have the iPad, iPhone, if you have, what's it called, a MacBook or whatever, Sylvia Shults is here on Apple Books.
I recognize the cover of 44 Years in Darkness. I've got the cover of Fractured Spirits, cover of Ghost of the Illinois River, all of them, right on.
Yeah.
Super cool.
And that's pretty cool.
So Apple Books is an ebook platform?
It's Apple.
Yes.
Yes, it's Apple ebook version. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The publisher that does the ebooks assured me that it was just all over the place. So yeah, right on.
Oh, yeah, well, they're right. It's all over the place, which is pretty cool. All right, awesome. I see. I learned something. So, like I said, if you have Apple Books, you can purchase Sylvia Shults' books straight from there too. So, was the Christmas one on there?
The Spirit of Christmas, the Dark Show Holly, yeah.
Yes, perfect. All right, they're all on there. All right, so, like I said, sylviashults.wordpress.com. Go there. You can get information about the book. I'm pretty sure you can buy the book from there, I think, or links to do so.
Yeah, it links to Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Amazon.com, you can search Sylvia Shults. You can search any name of her books. Most of her books will pop up, which is a cool thing about Amazon. I love Amazon. And if you have Alexa, I believe you can tell Alexa to look up Sylvia Shults. So I think that's how that works. I'm gonna have to try it.
I'm sure Alexa already knows. She's been listening. So.
Well, that's true. I own 2 Alexas, so I've been kind of weary about that. Because you can put them in multiple rooms. The cool thing about Alexa, the cool thing about Alexa, I don't know what they're called, echoes. You can actually turn it off to where she can't hear you. So, that kind of freaks me out a little bit. What's that?
Somebody wanted them.
All of them? Oh, I own all of Sylvia Shults' books now? Oh.
You do.
Awesome.
You own all the nonfiction.
Yeah, actually, I just downloaded them all. Okay.
You rock.
Fantastic.
You're awesome.
I know. So I just want to thank James for coming on and co-hosting with me.
Yes,
something
thank
out
you,
of the
James.
ordinary, which I'm pretty sure you're going to be doing it again at some point. I don't know.
Yes.
We're always in need of a co-host. So Sherry's got the laryngitis. I can't breathe through my nose. I can't even taste anything. I'm sick. So it's really stinky at the end of, which is good because it's the end of my vacation. But it's just, oh my God, my nose keeps running. It's horrible. But anyways, but I wanted to make sure the show went on, and we did the show because it's the last show. We're done. That's it. No more.
Oh my goodness.
Until next year. So
it's the last show of the year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I like to get people going, James, because then the messages come up like, "Oh my God, what's going on? What? No more?" So yeah.
I know
for the
how
year.
she reacted that I wanted to make sure it said something on that.
Oh yeah, no. Sylvia knows I ain't going nowhere. We're not going anywhere.
Nope.
So yeah. Season 5.
I'm looking forward to racking up 10 appearances on your show. When we get to number 10, we'll have to do something special.
Well, we will. Yeah, we'll plan something. I think you've surpassed 10, or you're getting close.
No, I'm not up to 10 yet. I think this is.
You're keeping track.
I should have looked before I came on. I think it's like 6 or 7. So.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I'm glad somebody knows. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
And again, Sylvia Shults, thank you so much for coming on and talking about your book. It's always a joy.
I had an absolute blast, so thank you so much for having me on, and enjoy the 70-odd degree weather while you've still got it.
I know.
And James, it was delightful to meet you. And Sherri, I'm sorry you couldn't join us, but I'm glad you were in the comments. And hello to everyone who posted. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Mhm.
All right. Normally, at the end of this, I would ask Sherri if she has any more things to say, but I'll ask James. Anything else you'd like to add?
The only thing I have is just my shows that are coming up. So, January 7th, I'll be in New York City doing a roast battle called Roast Beef. It's a new show. Should be fun. My opponent, we just got matched up today. So, and December 29th, I'm doing a show called Slosh. So, the comics, what we'll do is we'll do 2 minutes, and then we have to take a shot, and then come back and do another 2 minutes, and that'll be interesting. It's sponsored, I'm sure, by some alcohol. But the one that I definitely want to want to mention is January 27th. I am doing a festival in Philadelphia. Ooh, can't get that wrong. So it's all day the 27th, and the proceeds for that go to a foundation called Headstrong, which is for non-lymphoma cancer. So definitely, if y'all have a chance, we'll be running at 4 different places in Philadelphia, and it's all on the website. And then even further down the line, I myself, as a producer, will be running the World Series of Comedy qualifier in New York City starting in July. So I'll be producing that show. So,
cool.
Yeah,
Now,
that'll be fun.
Did you say there's a
sounds like
website?
you're busy.
I try to stay that way. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
Did you
have
say there's
one
a
more
website?
library program to do on Thursday, and then I'm done for the year.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. And you got sponsors and all sorts of stuff going on. That's wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did a show last night sponsored by Fireball, and I was happy that there were a lot younger comics that were there, and I just kept handing off my shots. I was like, oh, yeah, Fireball's the best thing ever. Here you go.
Oh, my. So you had victims who were willing to fall on your shots for you. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. I was like, no. I'm not 25 years old anymore. We're not doing this.
All right. Well, it has been an absolutely splendid hour talking with you. Thank you so much for having me on, and I'm going to sign off, I reckon, because I think we're done with the show, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. All right,
everyone.
cool.
Thank you so much. And have a good holiday, a fantastic holiday, because I won't talk to anybody more until next year. So, and have a happy new year.
Yes. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and travel safe, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yep.
All
Merry
right.
Christmas,
Sounds
y'all.
good.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye.
Bye.